I never knew if I was going to win, but in my mind, I was the man. And there's two places where I have to be the man: in the gym and on the track. And there's a fine line in sports where some people take that outside of those arenas. I do what I got to do during those moments. Then you get in life and you get out of the gym and you get out of the track and you're human.
Mm-hmm.
You are a man, but you're not the man to everybody, and that's okay. I'm human. I'm my parents' child. I'm a child of God, and I realized the way to maximize that potential, I feel, was continuing to be happy along my journey.
Hey, Dr. Julie.
Hello.
Part 2 is at us today. Part 2 of the amazing LaShawn Merritt podcast.
I think we need to retitle this one Greatness in Isolation because, man, this man's story is.
This second part is incredible. Greatness in Isolation. I hope you all enjoy it.
And the one more thing I wanted to touch on was the rest cycle. I feel like in anything, in sport and life, rest is important. And I lived that because in my sport, the rest was just as important as the activity. So there was no room for anything really extra. When I wasn't on the track or I wasn't in the gym, I was sleeping. Or I was in a chiropractor office, or I was or getting a massage done, or getting some type of nerve work. So I would have an advantage of being able to send a signal from my brain to my body.
Yeah, man.
So there was a lot of learning. There was a lot of learning. I equate it to like Formula One, where if a Formula One driver had, if a screw is loose on the back right tire just a little bit, he may can feel it. And if anything's kind of off on me over the years, I felt it. And I don't know how that happened. I've worked with a lot of doctors, a lot of therapists, and they always tell me that my body awareness is like spot on. But I think that's the me having my inner voice, me not minding being alone, and while alone, learning and studying or stretching or doing abs. But I didn't have a lot of distractions in my life while I was competing. And with the minimum distractions, my nervous system fired up, my alignment right, my training where I need to be, my hydration good, my parents telling me just go have fun. That takes away all the, if I don't get top 3 in the world, I'm gonna lose money. Or if something happened, people are gonna feel away. My team believed in me, they supported me 100%. And in 17 years, I pretty much kept the same people around.
How did you hit on something, work cycle versus rest cycle in your recovery? And I think that crosses over into business as well, with and parents parenting your kids. Like there's times where you have to parent, and there's times where hopefully you get to rest a little bit so you can get back in the fight and parent
Right.
again. And like, when did you listen to somebody like Tiger Woods, quite possibly arguably the best golfer ever to play.
Right.
But he said there was such a massive mental game to golf. It's probably the same thing with running, where when you set up, you put your feet in them blocks, you put one foot in, you tighten up the left, you stretch out the right, you put the right one in, and then you're like loaded. When it's time to throw down, LaShawn, and you have that mental thought process, was there ever a time where you looked left and you looked right? You were probably in position 4 or 5 on the track because you're the fastest.
Right.
Where you're like, I got these fools. Like before you even, like you felt yourself load, you put your fingers down. And in your mind, did you ever think that where it's like, I'm gonna smoke these guys right off the bat? Where like you knew you had them. Oh shoot, hold on. LaShawn will be right back. I had him on that question. Sorry, LaShawn, you still there, bud?
I'm sorry.
So what? No, you're good, man. These things happen. So where you knew you had them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there times where you loaded up and you knew you won before you even heard the
Let me
gun?
absolutely. Let me tell you how detailed I would go, right? So before an event, there's 8 lanes. I would study each competitor. I would look at their old film. I would look at their last race. I would learn their tendencies. I would have the heat sheet so I would know which lane I was in. I know who's on top of me, who's below me in the lanes. I would look at if I'd raced them before. So this is where YouTube played a big part.
Sure.
The day before the race, I would even walk the track. Tracks are built different. Sometimes the straightaway may be longer than the curve where the marks are, right? So not only am I competing, I also know, not only do I know what these guys are used to doing or their tendencies. Some people may go out fast and close hard. I don't want to chase anybody, so I learn my competition. And then I go to learn the spots on the track. So I can think less. When I get here, this is my mark. I already seen it yesterday. This is where the 250-meter mark is. This is where the 100-meter mark is. So I need to just be aware of my body position when I get to certain places. So it's all about executing. You know, it was a lot about executing for me. You know, I took it as a business, and I would get a little more nervous in smaller competitions. I would run in like Florida. I would mostly win. Or like in the US, just running at like a small invitational. I would get nervous some because I didn't know what the other guy was going to do. I didn't know how much of my game I was to bring, and I didn't want to be surprised by other guys. But when it was time to really handle business at these high caliber meets, I never knew if I was going to win, but in my mind, I was the man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's 2 places where I have to be the man, and it's in the gym and on the track. And there's a fine line in sports where some people take that outside of those arenas. But when I'm in the track, when I'm in the gym, every rep is intentional. Not only am I doing the work, I have to be intentional to dial the signal from my brain to that muscle. So everything's intentional. I can't work like I'm not me in the gym. I have to put in LaShawn Merritt type work. When I get on the track, I can't lollygag or act like I'm not who I am. The interval work and the training has to be on the level of LaShawn Merritt, the Olympic gold medalist, Brenda Merritt and Owen Merritt's son. I put in that work. They tell me I'm great. They tell me go have fun. So I do what I got to do during those moments. Then you get in life and you get out of the gym and you get out of the track and you're human.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you are a man, but you're not the man to everybody, and that's okay. It's funny because I have some people, sometimes friends or associates. Man, why don't you tell them who you are? Why don't you just let them know who you are? I'm like, look, that's for the gym and the track. I mean, if they respect what I do, that's it. But I'm human. I'm my parents' child. I'm a child of God, and I just
Yes, you are.
been blessed with the DNA, and I realized I have a gift in a lane, and the way to maximize that potential, I feel, was continuing to be happy along my journey.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is an incredible, incredible interview. I love it, LaShawn. You do an amazing job at articulating what and how you feel, man. It's just fantastic because I remember shaking your hand last weekend, getting introduced to you by your chiropractor, David Pascal, he's one of the best in the world at what he does. And your love for chiropractic just rang through. I could feel that off of you right away. And that means that you got somebody that cares for you as much as Dave does. Like,
Right.
There's a difference when a healthcare provider cares.
Right.
And like they truthfully care. Like I take care of some very high end, high caliber athletes as well. But I take care of them and love on them just like I do when I'm taking care of a 2-day-old baby.
When they're not in the gym and they're not on the track, right?
When they're the
people,
person.
they're the person.
Okay.
And that's the most important part, right?
Mhm.
That's the most important part.
It
Was
is.
there ever a time, LaShawn, that you wanted to quit?
Yes, especially towards the end of my career when I dealt with plantar fasciitis.
Okay.
So training became painful
Yep.
daily. The daily life became painful. It got tough. I was training daily, and I felt like I was going backwards. You know, it was the inflammation, then the scar tissue, and then the overcompensation, and I'm throwing my hip out. And then I decided to finally get surgery on my toe. I had a bone spur, and that came back after that. Then where the adhesion was, I had scar tissue build up. It was just, I had to watch the way I slept. When I got up in the morning, I had to put my foot in warm water before I went to the gym. It was a lot, to the point where I said, and I gave it 2.5 years doing this process.
Wow.
I wasn't able to come back, but I was in pain for a long time. And I said, well, I didn't say, I had people around me who told me, you don't have anything else to prove. Only thing I hadn't gotten was the world record.
Right.
Right. That's the only thing I'd had undefeated seasons. I got the goals. I have the meet records at different places, travel the world 10 times over. And I was at a point where it was painful and I wasn't having fun with it anymore. Many nights I talked to my mom and my agent and my dad and my chiropractor, Pascal, and they would tell me the same thing. Hey, you can keep going if you want to, but you don't have anything else to prove to anybody. You've made us happy. Hopefully you made yourself happy. You've did everything you said you wanted to do and maximize because your brother wasn't here. And it's okay to go on with life. But it was times where, like, I have training on a Monday, and on a Tuesday I have so much inflammation I can't train again that week. So I'm just home by myself in the house saying, I don't know if I can keep doing this. But then I would go right back to training. I would go right back to training. And there were times I would do everything I could while I was home to make tomorrow a better day.
Mm-hmm.
So it got to that point, and then I ended up retiring.
Yep.
And I'm okay with it. I'm at peace with it.
And I think that's incredible.
But there's been times also within the sport that I've had small injuries that may have taken me out for a few months where I couldn't train and feel like I was giving my all at training. I'm limited in training, and I'm like, I understand, or I would know what other people were doing at training, and I would be behind. So I don't know if I can still do this. I haven't said that much in my career. I'm not going. I haven't said that much. Um, but there has been dark times of not feeling like things were progressing. And in that time, I just go to my team, my parents, and the ones who've been there for me the longest. And they've always been proud of me. They wouldn't care if I only ran one Olympic Games. They still would have been happy and proud of me. So that's what I live by.
So, I mean, LaShawn, like we're talking now, we're talking about past career that now you're going down a different path. How can our listeners, our viewers, be able to see what you are transpiring to do? How can they stay in touch with you? Give us a little insights on what your next endeavors are.
All right, Miss Julie, Dr. Julie.
The-
So when I retired, I didn't want to be a coach. I was at the track all my life, and I love the sport, but I don't love it right now enough to be out there every day.
Mm.
So through my foundation, I started putting on clinics. I put on a track and speed clinic, and it went well. I enjoyed being out with the kids and teaching. And then I contacted Nike. Well, Nike contacted me, and we decided to partner to do clinics together. So right now I'm putting on speed clinics or track and field clinics. It's either speed and movement, where it's more football, soccer, sports that need speed, or a track and field clinic where I'm going over the different disciplines within the sport. So I'm doing those around right now. So LaShawn Merritt Track and Field Clinic, sponsored by Nike. I have my foundation where it's geared towards inner city, giving them hope, health and wellness, and giving them opportunities. Like I said, I came from a small place in Virginia where I had someone kind of invest in me to send me to these meets over in New York and LA when I was a senior, to give me exposure. And it gave me hope, and it did a lot for me. So I do a lot in the city right now through my foundation, and it's the LaShawn L. Merritt Foundation, where we just target these inner city kids from, like I said, health and wellness, mental health, and just trying to guide and give them hope, because I feel like that's important. My most recent, and that's like I said, the LaShawn L. Merritt Foundation. After that, my most recent endeavor is being a speaker. I feel like I have a lot to share. I have a message in my story. I've been through a lot. I understand the ups and downs. I have a successful career where along my path, I found the greatness in the work, in the process. And I found the greatness. I found happiness in that. And I just want to share my testimony on a lot. It's a lot. I have something to give.
Mm-hmm. I can feel that in you, man. I felt
I
that the minute I talked to you.
do.
To be honest with you, LaShawn, when I shook your hand for the first time, I kind of knew who you were, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Like the name rung a bell. I knew I could recognize your face, but I had no idea that the man standing in front of me was a world class Olympic champion. I just knew that the aura that you were putting off and the energy you were putting off, that this guy was destined for greatness. And come to find out, you've already been there once. And you're probably going to be there again. You're the world, one of the world's fastest athletes. And then now you're going to be a world champion speaker. I have no doubt with that. I will get you in touch with the right people. You can mark my words and talk to the right people. And this has been an incredibly impactful interview for me, listening to you talk, LaShawn, because there is so much that a parent and a business owner can take from this. The dark times, the times where you feel like you're taking 2 steps forward and 4 steps back, and you feel like you're trying to make progress. You're in the dirt. You're in the suck. You're in the sweat. Your body doesn't feel good. Your hands don't feel good, but you just keep going and grind and move and just keep your body moving. And then you surround in the dark times. What do? You're never alone, because you've always got God.
Absolutely.
But then you've always got your family, the people that care the most about you. They don't care whether you finish first or last. I just want my family to have fun. My son, my daughter, both of them, Peyton and Brecken, excellent golfers, love life, love sports. My son's kind of a natural athlete. Peyton's getting there. She's older, but Brecken's good at everything.
Nice.
Always down for a foot race, LaShawn. Always down for a foot race. Always. Now he's got a little bit bigger, not so much, but he's always down to run.
Nice.
But I just want him to have fun.
Absolutely.
And then when they succeed, there is nothing better than watching your kid win. Because winning in life is important.
Absolutely.
People, that is the other thing too, LaShawn, is winning, being able to feel what it's like to win and what it's like to lose, not to participate. Participation is one thing, like that's important, but winning, being on the side of winning one point in your life and feeling what that's like and riding that, but then also understanding what losing is like too.
Right.
And you had hit it on the head when you said to ride the waves, but don't let them get too high and don't let them get too low.
Absolutely.
It's so important, because if the parents that are out there listening, the business owners, the people that listen to this need to understand that, because a lot gets caught up in the winning and the highs of winning.
Right.
But we wrap ourselves up in it to that one achieved goal. But where do you go after that? You embrace the work. The work.
Absolutely.
Delayed gratification is huge too, especially being in a society right now that, man, I can get gratification in 15 seconds.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's fast, it's quick, it's instantaneous. Where what I found, what's that, sir?
That dopamine is on your phone every second.
Every second. And those small hits actually hurt you. Where when you take time and build a foundation, that's when success runs for literally 13 years.
Absolutely.
In that strong foundation, that drive. And LaShawn, this has been absolutely amazing.
Thank you, Dr. Skip.
Man, I'm a better person just sitting here today. I was so excited to listen to you and talk to you and hear what you had to say. And obviously the TV tells us that it's been on for an hour. And just, LaShawn, thank you so much for taking the time out to come and listen, to come and be on this with us.
Thank you. I thank you for appreciating the work that I put in on the track, and the work that I put in as a person, as a man, to be able to be in a sport that long, but also become a champion and keep becoming a champion. You know, year after year, there were events where I would be the number one in the world, and that don't come easy. And just like I feel like in anything, to get to those levels, it takes work to get to a level in any lane. And I honestly feel like, well, I feel this way. The next chapter of my life, whatever I choose, if I apply the same formula that I use here with knowing myself from these 6 inches and applying that to something else, minus the DNA. I was a little nervous at first when I finished, because I was thinking, what else can I get into where I have this much advantage because of the DNA I have of being fast? But then I really think about it and break it down. I ran against and trained with people who are fast, but they get into a competition and they can't execute. The talent there of being able to shine when the lights are on, or execute, or block out the noise, or you can't make any mistakes once this gun go off. That's something that I developed, and dotting my I's and crossing my T's and being prepared is something that I feel like I could take from here and apply to whatever else I want to do in life. So I'm excited about the next chapter and chapters of life. And I appreciate you two for recognizing and appreciating that also.
Well, I'm just happy I get to be here for the start of it.
Yes, sir.
Man, I'm just happy. Like, this has been absolutely amazing, LaShawn. And LaShawn, can you just mention your foundation one more time? Because I think that's incredibly important for people to hear.
It's LaShawn L. Merritt Foundation.
LaShawn L. Merritt Foundation. Guys, go out there, find it, donate to it, help LaShawn out, help LaShawn give people more drive, more inspiration, and just build this man up, because I can tell you right now, there are going to be huge things coming from LaShawn Merritt in this world of motivation and speed clinics and just leading children. And LaShawn, thank you so much for being on, man. Any last words?
No, I'm just grateful, glad to be here, and I wish you much success on your podcast.
Thank you, LaShawn.
Thank you.
Man, we're going to be with each other at the top. Mark my words.
Yes,
all right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Now go out there, get it done. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.